We talk a lot, especially in hot weather, and checking in on your elderly neighbors, especially those who may be in between some sort of care or may be suffering from situations that may not give them reminders that they should find ways to cool down. Here to talk a little bit more about elderly and especially in a situation with Alzheimer's is Rick Ferrante, President of Home Care Services. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I just mentioned that because in this time we've got a heat advisory out. And a lot of times, there are some elderly people who they're on the fixed income, they don't want to run their air conditioner, but we do have that situation where especially those becoming more and more affected by Alzheimer's, and maybe they haven't quite gotten to the point where they realize that things like, let's make sure that we have our temperature gauges set, especially in hot weather. And it's sometimes a very sad thing to have happen where elderly people are very affected in negative ways by that. But I want to talk a little bit more about what home care services can do, because you do provide services that can actually take care of our elderly relatives and friends, especially those suffering from Alzheimer's, in order to kind of give us some relief and let family members kind of at least get to some degree on with their regular lives.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that we haven't really, there's conversation about a lot of things and diseases and different things affecting us. But Alzheimer's is something that's coming down the pike here really fast and with a lot of people. The statistics are, sobering. So it's the 6th leading cause of death in adults in the United States, 6th. 1 in 8 individuals, nearly half of the people age 85 or older have Alzheimer's. Half of those people. And it's the kind of thing we have not prepared for. It's the kind of thing that nobody really knows what to do with when it affects them. And if half those, people are living a lot older. They're living to 85. That's just not unusual, okay? Well past 85. So if that's the case, think about it. Half those people that you're looking at are going to be suffer from some effects of Alzheimer's or other form of dementia. And we're not prepared to kind of deal with that. It's the kind of thing we see all the time when people call us, and they're calling us in a more of a panic stage because they haven't prepared for it. And so they'll call us, other agencies just like us, and say, okay, now what do I do? How do I help this? So there's a couple of things to really think about. One is just to kind of start considering that this is an issue. As a community, we got to start thinking about this. As individuals, we have to start thinking about this. What are we going to do when that situation starts to arise? So it might not be today and it might not be tomorrow, but very soon, your parents, your grandparents, your whoever, a loved one is going to be, the odds are very high that they're going to be affected with some form of a dementia, and in particular Alzheimer's. Exactly,
and the level of stress that comes on as a result of that, because you're right, it's like gradually then suddenly, wait a minute, how did this happen? And even with early detection and things like that, it still grabs us. And in some cases, too, our elderly parents or relatives are sometimes in a denial state. Oh, no, I'm just forgetful, And there are ways to determine whether it's just a little bit of senioritis versus Alzheimer's or some other dementia, right?
Start asking questions. Start looking for the signs. Think about calling and contacting and getting some resources even before you start, the thing becomes a really big problem. So if Alzheimer's affects that many people. So if you think about that many people, that's really that many families. There's a lot more people than just the person that's affected. It's affecting the whole family.
Exactly.
So start thinking about, okay, I need to find some resources that will help me kind of guide me through this, to look for the signs, to determine whether or not where the diagnosis is, to try to start. There's no cure to this.
Right.
But how do we get some assistance, support, and help for the family? So our organization is just one piece of that puzzle, and there's similar ones to us. So that's a piece of it. That's a part professional caregiving. But there's a lot more to it. It's the family themselves and their caregiving and how they're dealing with it and where to go. The Alzheimer's Association, which very definitely need to try to, get your arms around and to use them for information, is a vital source or vital resource to be able to go and effectively address this challenge.
Right.
In your family, it's tough. It's a hard thing.
Aside from, I just mentioned about, parents or relatives who may be suffering from that being in denial, we also have to make sure we're not in denial.
Yeah.
Because, and it's such a could be such an overwhelmingly emotional issue that it's easy for us to go, oh, I'll check next week.
Yeah.
Or, you know what, that's just grandma. She's kind of, that way. And so we have to also take responsibility on that ourselves and just make that phone call and start asking those questions. And there's no shame in it.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's okay to get that information because it really will. The more preparation you have, the easier it can be down the road.
Look, it's scary stuff. So no doubt about it. And that's why people don't, it's like, I don't want to go to the dentist. Because why? I mean, it's not because it's fun. It's not fun.
Right.
This isn't either, but get the information. Call us. Call somebody. Get some resources. So then, you absolutely will be in a better place by doing that. And then I also wanted to mention one other thing. There's, in terms of the support for this disease and trying to eradicate this disease, which is what it is. It's a disease. This is not a normal process of aging. This is a disease that occurs to people many times when they age. And the Alzheimer's Association is doing a lot in terms of research and trying to get the word out and, get all the public policy, et cetera. A fundraising event is coming up for it on September 20th at Bridgeport Park. There's a Walk to End Alzheimer's. You can contact the Alzheimer's Association on their website. You can contact Home Care Services. We're helping organize teams, et cetera, to be able to do the walk. It's a pretty typical walk. Again, Sunday, September 20th, Bridgeport Park. Contact us. Give us a call, 800-888-4777, or go to our website, and then get in contact us with it. It can help end that disease.
Right, and that's homecaresantaclarita.com. And so for any of these types of situations, even if whether Alzheimer's related or even you just have questions about how to handle your parents as they get older or other grandparents, relatives, yourself, your spouse, let's not forget that we have also spouses who are taking care of each other as well. Yes. And that can be overwhelming as the spouses get older as well. So keep that in mind too. Don't overlook the opportunity. It's not just parents and children. It's also spouses and relatives and everybody else. So again, the number is 800-808-4777, homecaresantaclarita.com. Rick Ferrante, always a pleasure to have you stop by and give us this important information.
Great. Thanks for having me.
You bet.